Joining us now, the author of the new and best-selling book, Understanding Trump, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor, Newt Gingrich. Sorry about the long introduction. I just want your general thoughts here. And if there's ever evidence, I'm willing to look at it. But when everyone says no evidence, and it's gone on for thousands of TV hours, what am I to think of this? What do you think about it?
Well, look, I think, first of all, this is an attack media, not a news media. This is a group of people who get up in the morning and know that Trump has done something horrible. They're just not sure what it is yet. Anything which could hurt Trump gets exaggerated, and it becomes somebody talked to somebody who might someday know something. If you looked at the number of New York Times and Washington Post stories that begin with unnamed sources told us. And I thought Trump one day had a great line when he said, I challenge you to only print the ones that have named sources. They'll all dry up. So you go down this road, and then you say, now, what did the unnamed sources say? Well, there's this great line, and I don't remember the name of the young Republican who just asked the question yesterday of Brennan, but he said to Brennan, you're concerned about people of significance having conversation with the Russians that might lead to a relationship. He then quoted the Obama conversation with Medvedev where he said, after the election, I'll really be available to do better things. And Medvedev says, that's great. I'm going to tell Vladimir.
Yeah.
And he said to Brennan, he said, doesn't that count? And he said, well, but that's between two heads of state. So the question then is, let me get this straight. If Trump were to say something to the foreign minister, that would be bad. But if, in effect, Obama promises to sell out after the election to the Russian president, that's okay.
Let's just walk through the scenario where maybe somebody in the Trump campaign said to Vladimir, if you have anything, release it.
Look, I'm not willing to even start down the road. I doubt very much if anybody from the Trump campaign ever talked to Vladimir.
Okay, or the Russians.
But look, there are people, and this is part of what this whole story is about, there are people out there who are self-designated important people. Now, the question is, did they ever get in Trump Tower? I mean, did Trump ever know who they were? I mean, you have a huge campaign. Now, let me take the contrast, which I keep coming back to, because I cannot understand the Republican leadership in the House and Senate. I'm perfectly happy to have an investigation of Russian influence in American government. But then I want to see the former campaign chairman's brother, who's a registered agent for a Russian bank. I want to see Bill Clinton's $500,000 speech paid by a Russian bank.
Uranium.
I want to see the uranium deal. I was going to get to it. Come on now.
You're the only one that could beat me up like this because I've known you forever.
No, but Peter Schweitzer put together this whole thing about Moscow, and you read it, and my first question is, why are the Republicans afraid to look at both sides of this? I mean, let's talk about relationships. And what you discover suddenly is there's this giant mountain of Clinton relationships with the Russians. And we may or may not have some smoke over here. But for some reason, the Republicans, I mean, look, if it was a Democratic Congress, they go, I got it. They're going after Trump because they're partisan. Why would the Republicans step past all this other information? And let's apply the same terms. What does collusion mean? What kind of collusion was there between the campaign manager's brother, the Russians, and the Clinton campaign?
Obama tried to unseat Prime Minister Netanyahu, influence an election. No, not one of these media outlets or Democrats care. I got a couple of important questions, really important, about what the president should do, about his foreign trip, and not a lot of legislative days left to get his agenda passed. More